Okay, so Leetcode practice question. In this video, there are two goals. The first goal is to see how to solve this problem. So you're going to find the solution and do some coding work. And the second goal is to see how we should behave in a real interview. So let's get started. So remember, in a real interview, the first step is always try to understand the question. If there's anything unclear, please bring out the question to the interviewer, and at the same time think about some edge cases. So let's take a look at the question. So design in-memory file system. So design an in-memory file system to simulate the following functions. ls, given the path in string format, if it is a file path, return the list that only contains this file's name. If it is a directory path, return a list of the file and the directory names in this directory. Your output should be in lexicographical order. Make dir. Given a directory path that doesn't exist, you should make a new directory according to the path. So if the middle directory in the path does not exist, you should create them as well. This function has void return type. And add content to the file given a file path and the file content in a string format. If the file does not exist, you need to create a file containing given content. If the file already exists, you need to append the given content to the range node content. You need to append the given content. Okay, so this function has a void return type. Read content from the file, given the file, return the content in a string format. So let's see this example. Okay, so let's see some notes. So I can assume that all the files or directory paths are absolute paths which begin with / and do not end with / except that the path is just / Alright, so you can assume that all the operations will be passed valid parameters, and the users will not attempt to retrieve file content or list directory or a file that does not exist. Okay, and I can assume that all the directory names and file names only contain lowercase letters, and same name would not exist in the same directory. Okay, so I think there might be some edge cases, but I think the notes covered most of my concern about the edge cases. For example, what if there is already a file there, but we are going to create a directory which has the same path as a file? So what would we do? So something like that, I think is just going to do nothing, for example. So I think regarding this part, we are mostly in good shape about this problem. So let's see the next part, which is about finding a solution. So for this one, the question is mostly focusing on the data structure design. As long as we have a good enough data structure, then I think those of the operations are just coding level for us to do. So I would say for this one, it remembers me a data structure called try. So try appears in interview questions pretty often, but not that often. So the try is for a certain node, you have a bunch of the children's, and each children can be like and the number of the children can be more than 2. So it's essentially not a binary tree, but like a general tree. And each of the branch essentially contains like some string to indicate what the branch it is. So that's essentially the tree, what a try is. So for example, for this one, if you have the ABC and ABCD, so for A, it has a child which is B, and B has a child which is C, so something like that. And we also need to mark the tree node to see if it is a file, and if it is file, the file content, we will need to store the file content as well. So for the try, the ls is going to depend on the path of the length of the path. So if there are, let's say there are n subdirectories, then the runtime is going to be, it really depends. So I would say this one, it depends on the number of the subdirectories. Let's say there are n subdirectories, and then under the n subdirectory, under the corresponding directory, there are m items to be listed, so it is n plus m. And for mkdir, this is just let's say n subdirectories, this is just all of n. And for addContent, again, this is just all of n, because we just need to find the corresponding item and append the content to the tree node. And the readContent is also going to be all of n. So all the n's represent the number of the subdirectories in the past. So having said that, let's start to do some coding work to show you how to solve this problem using the try solution. So so the next part is about coding. For coding, we care about the code correctness, the readability, and of course don't be too slow about coding. So first of all, we will need to define a, let's say file node. So the file node, first of all, we will have the hash map, which contains the string to the corresponding file node. So this would be the children. I say it's children. Another thing is we need a boolean to indicate whether it is a file. And the last one is we need to see we need to store the file contents as well. Let's say this is file content. Yep. And let's give it a constructor. So let's say file node with the, or we may not really need to do that. Maybe just give it is file as a parameter, so file content, I think it's just fine. So this dot is file is file. So for the files and for the class, we are going to define the members. Let's say we have the member as private, file node as root. So in the constructor, we have root as new file node. This is false, so it is not a file for sure. So so which one should we start? Let's say for the let's just do this one, which is easier, the mkdir stuff. So first of all, we will need to split the file the directory using the /. So string sub dir is equal to dirs as pass dot split using the /. So if you use the /, that means we have the first one within the subdir is going to be empty, because we have the path starting with the /. So let's say for this one, we are going to say okay, I is equal to 0, 1, I is smaller than subdirs.length plus I. So the reason we start from index I is because the first subdir is going to be empty. So let's see, we will have the file node as starting from root. So if the file node dot children that contains the let's say the subdir, let's say the string sub dir is equal sub drs I. So this is if it contains the subdir, then we just need to go to the corresponding node. So file node is going to be file node dot children dot get subdir, and then we just continue. Otherwise, it means there's no corresponding subdirectory there. Then we are going to create a something. So we are going to say okay, file node new node is equal to new file node. This is initialize false, and we will say alright, so file node dot children dot put the subdir and the corresponding node, which is new node. Then we are going to have file node as new node. Okay, so this one I think we should also have children new hash map. Then finally we just we don't need to return anything. Let's check this piece of code. So we just split it, and the first one is going to be empty, so we start from the index as 1. We have the final starting as root. So if the corresponding node has a child which is subdir, then we are just going to go to the corresponding branch. Otherwise, we need to have the new node, and then we put it into the children, and then we go to the new node. Okay, so that should be pretty much it. And let's say the read content from file. So what if there's no such file? So given a file, return the content in string format. Does it say anything? That all, so you can assume that all persons will pass valid parameters and either won't attempt to retrieve file contents or list a directory or file that doesn't exist. So it means that for sure that the file exists here. So here, to implement this API, what we do is we have file node as node, starting from the root. And okay, so string subdirs is equal to pass dot split using the / and then similarly we are going to start from I as 1 and start smaller than sub as length plus I. This is an array. So node will be equal to node dot children dot get which is subdir. So the subdir is defined as subdirs I. So we go to the corresponding subdirectory, and then finally we just need to return node dot file content. Yep, so that should be it. So the children get subdir. Yes, I think it should be, that should be it. So as safe addContent. So if the file does not exist, we will need to create that file containing given content. So let's see. If it doesn't exist, we need to do it. Alright, so let's also dot children, let's set this dot file content as equal to empty stuff. Let's do this. So we need to say, okay, so string, again we have the subdirectories as file path. So it is file path dot split with the / and file node starting from the root. So again, we start from index I is equal to 1, I smaller than sub-drs dot length plus I. So string sub-dir is equal to sub-drs I. So the thing here is, if the file node already contains a children that has the sub-dir as the name, then we are just going to have file node is we are just going to go through the corresponding branch dot get sub-dir. So otherwise, we will need to create the corresponding node. So we will say file node new node is equal to new file node. So here we need to care about is file. So to mark it, to make sure to tell whether it is a directory or a file name. So here we will say new file node, this is equal, so if I is equal to sub-dir dot length -1, which is the last one, then it is true, otherwise it is just something false. So file node dot children dot put the sub dir dot and then the new node, and then file node is equal to the new node. So essentially we should have so this is file node. Okay, so the name should be file node. So file node is equal to new node. Okay, this one is also file. Okay, so node is fine for here because so this is the file node, it's root, file node children, and the new node. Okay, sure. And then after the for loop, we should be in a node. We should be already had the node. So we will have file node dot file content dot append dot or just plus equal to the content. So that's this API. For the ls, it is still similar things. So we are going to do similar things like this. You're going to say so we are going to do similar things like this. So ls, we don't need to care about the creation because it's for sure the path exists. So file node is okay, so we just go to the corresponding directory. So let's take a look at this one. If ls is a // then yes, let's see. So given the path of the string, if it is a file path, return the list that only contains this file's name. So if it is a directory path, then return the list of the directory of the file and directory names in this directory. So your output and directory should be in lexicographical order. Sure. So let's say if the file node, by the way, we need to create the return stuff. So this is file and dirs as new linked lists. So if the file node is file, then it means that file and directory, we are just going to add the path, and then we're just going to return it. Otherwise, it is a directory. So if it is a directory, then we need to see all of its children. So let's see for LS. Okay, so I think I understand it. So it is something like so if it is empty, then it is empty. So we are going to go through all of its children. So string, this is child, to go through file. Let's say this is file node.children dot keyset. So all the keys, and then we are going to have the file and the drs.add pass plus / plus the child, and then finally we just return the file and the directory. So I think mostly should be good. Let's do some testing. For testing, usually you could just go through a simple example explaining how this piece of code is going to work, and at the same time fixing the bug. But considering we have limited time for this video, let's just depend on this platform to help us fix all the bugs. So if okay, it is contains key. This one it should be also contains key. Let's do another compile. So subdr.length line 81 subdrs.length. Alright, so this is a wrong answer because we add another / here. Yeah, so that's essentially we add another /. So I would say if it is only a / then okay, so I think I understand what it is. So if so how to say that? So if the pass, so if pass dot last, so let's say the car at pass dot length -1 is equal to the / then we are going to do pass plus the children. Otherwise, we will need to add an extra / for it. Yeah, let's give it another shot. It's wrong answer again. So it says that output is, so okay, so let's find ls the mkdir as a, addContent ls. So we are so the pass is empty. So when we list ls, currently we get a, or okay, so it doesn't want us to get a / added to it. So it will be just something like we just file plus children. Or is it just children? So it is, your output should be in lexical order. Okay, so return list that only contains this file's name. If it is a directory, return list of file and directory names in this directory. Okay, so it seems like, oh okay, so it seems like it just asks us to get the children. We need to and also I think we need to do collections dot sort based on the file and theirs before we return it. Okay, so now it's good. Let's do a summation for it. Okay, it's wrong answer. Let's see why. So we have none, none, and z, z, none. So this one, it gets the, so let's see. So it is calling the last second one, which is ls. So we ls this. Okay, so it asks us to return the pass. Yeah, that's weird. So if it asks, okay, so that's a misunderstanding about what we should return for the ls stuff. Yeah, so it is this one. So I think it's something like this. If pass equals the /, then you're just going to add the child. Otherwise, it will ask us to get the children, right? Pass plus the children. The pass plus the / plus the child. Let's run this again. So it runs again. Let's see why. So it says mkdir ls mkdir addContent. So this is mkdir this ls ls mkdir z ls addContent. So this is a content. Oh, so actually if it is a content, then we need to if it is file, because it is file, then we need to add the pass. So this is ls, this is lsc. So actually it is a file though. So if it is a file, we oh, okay, so I think I understand it. So if it's a file, then we just need to add the, so should we, so it is the file, we just need to have the last subdir actually. So if it's file, let's see how to do it. It's just add a subdir, which is subdir as dot length, right? -1. So let's run again. So it's getting us the, so ls, so lsc, we are getting this, ls this, we are getting, okay, so it's just to add all the children. So it is essentially something like this. Okay, now it's good. Let's do another submission for it. Okay, so it's mostly, the bug is mostly about the misunderstanding about what we should return from the ls. But other than that, I think the algorithm should be, the algorithm and data structure should be workable. So that's it for this coding question and the corresponding solution. If you like this video, please help subscribe to this channel. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.